Welcome back, everybody. My name is Mr. Llama, and this is such an exciting series. Right here, we do have a best of 3 between EGIdrA and oGsSuperNova, and I was not quite sure if this was some sort of best of 3, if it was just 3 random games, and it still could possibly just be some sort of 3 random games played. But they are 1-1 right now in the best of 3 battle that they have going. So EGIdrA, our blue Zerg, going to be spawning in this top left corner. And down here in the bottom right, we do have oGsSuperNova. So Idra able to come back after being down in that 1-0 and being not in the best position last game. They were on Shakira's plateau. And of course they are now on Antiga Shipyard. We will talk about that in a second. But yes, EGIdrA down 1-0. Looking to possibly lose that second game, as there was the cliff abuse once again going on from on Shakira's plateau, where he did break down those rocks, sneak into the back there, and just siege up and start elevating his marines onto the high ground. But Idra able to sneak in with some links behind, able to get some good fungals off, and cleans it up twice. Goes into a quick tech to Broodlords, only on those 3 bases, just barely getting a 4th base up into the Broodlord tech to push across the map before his opponent has the Vikings to deal with it. And Broodlord Infestor, as everybody knows, so difficult to deal with as a Terran player, or as any player. That is just such a strong army composition. And he pushed his way across the map with those +3/+3 upgrades on his lings, those broodlings. And yeah, so 1-1 in this series, and it looks like we are going to have oGsSuperNova going for a 2 racks here. This is Antiga Shipyard. So Idra once again going for that 15 hatch, which is just such a common build. It's really not that difficult to defend. You just have to worry about these 2 racks. That is it. Worry about any sort of bunkers, but if you can deny those bunkers, then you'll be golden. And Idra not going to even take a second to really scat out this second rack, so he knows exactly what's up. He knows that this barracks has gone down, I believe. No, he does not, so he just scouts that 1 racks actually. And that is sneaky. I would have sworn he could have seen that coming up that ramp, but apparently not. So we will have to see if he sees this on his departure or not. He's going to see that Marine, so there we go. He's going to know that there is another barracks over here, as that Marine did not magically just appear out of this barracks. So oGsSuperNova going to do a lift off and drop, go ahead and cut down that distance across, and here we go, bunkers going down. EGIdrA is going to scout this, so he's going to pull a lot of drones. How many drones does he pull? 6 drones, so very good response, I would say. I always pull about 6 drones when I see this, and you want to snipe that SCV, but if he drops off, feel free to just snipe off that bunker, and you can just chase away that SCV, and you can chase away Marines actually with those drones until he does get enough. So it looks like the bunker once again going to try and go down, and he will drop a few onto that SCV there and possibly kill off this SCV. Another SCV has been brought, so it looks like Idra not going to snipe the SCV, leaving it with 5 health, so 1 more attack would have got it. But Idra already has those lings out. This bunker is not even halfway done. And there are just a few Marines, but 6 lings are out on the field. So EGIdrA, 8 lings actually will be able to pull this. He also has a spine crawler in case his opponent does get any bit close. And it looks like he will be able to scare off this attack. Yes, so he's going to snipe a few Marines in the process. Get two Marines, possibly 3, and maybe another SCV. So, there are 2 more Marines here. But yes, it looks like Idra will be able to clean these up as well. So oGsSuperNova throwing away a lot of Marines right there. A lot of SCVs. And Idra going to go for a slight counter push, and we'll have to see if there will be anything that oGsSuperNova has to defend. He's going to try and throw a bunker up, but that will not finish in time. How many Marines does he have? He does have about 4 or 5 Marines out on the field right now, I'd say. He does have 4 Marines, so I don't know if that's going to be enough. The bunker will not finish in time, and the Marines are kind of spread out. But it looks like Idra just going to go ahead and pick off a spare Marine, which should give enough time to oGsSuperNova. And I'm sorry, there's a tiny bit of lag right here. I am not exactly sure what this lag is about, so I guess we'll give it 1 second here to fix itself. So getting a little better, so here we go. EGIdrA going to try and push up, it looks like, but no, the Lings and Marines are going to push him away, so yes, he is just going to back away. So anyways, we are on Antiga Shipyard, and I feel like this map is I don't know, as a Terran player, it's great for turtling. It has advantages for both players. It's great for turtling, as there are just these little chokes right here. Also very easy to defend with tanks and such like that. And you do have all this high ground to throw siege takes up on and such. You do have to worry about these rocks, which EGIdrA is just going to go ahead and poke away at, which he might as well while he has the time here, since his opponent has thrown down that bunker. But you can turtle up pretty well, get that 3 base going, and then do some sort of large 3 base mech push if you wish, or anything like that. And 3 base Terran armies are quite scary. But also, of course, it is easy for a Zerg player to take that fast third as well. And the real issue, though, that for the Zerg player is taking a 4th base, or for any player, because the 3rd bases are just so far away, and as you can see, there's just no easy way to really get to these 4th bases for the Zerg player to defend it. So he has to have great creep spread and still have units kind of left at each base to defend against drops or anything like that. So kind of a tricky map. Get 3 base, of course, as I said, very easy to pick up, but again, that 4th base just so difficult. 4th, 5th, any extra base. And they did change it so there are no gold mineral patches here anymore. On the MLG one, I believe. I still believe the ladder map has gold, but MLG Antiga Shipyard, I believe, does not, or it's the other way around. One of the two. So, can't exactly remember, but there was a change that went down, and one of these maps has the gold, and one of them does not. So it looks like finally Stim is going to be going down for oGsSuperNova, and he does have those racks up again, so it looks like he will be continuing with this barracks play, and we'll have to see if he's going to throw down reactors yet. No, it does not look like he is, so that means he is a little bit worried. And he does not have too many units, so I can see why, as he did kind of expand a little bit quickly right there. So he is worried slightly of a Baneling bust or something of that sort, which is why those reactors have not gone down yet, I would imagine. Because reactors do take 50 seconds to build, and if you're building reactors while your opponent comes in to try and bust you like that, and that's all the time that you could have been spent building Marines, of course that would be 4 more Marines that you could have had in the time that the reactors are building. You can easily just lose the game because you were spending the time doing that. So once again, there is a little bit of lag, and I am extremely sorry about that. I am not quite sure as to why I'm getting this lag, but it should go away as it usually does. A couple spine crawlers going up for EGIdrA, so he also a little bit worried. And we'll take a look at the worker count, though. No 50 drones, so he's just going to get some spine crawlers out with that and then drone up heavy behind it. And he's throwing a Baneling nest down now, so we'll have to see what his vision is. Okay, so he does see over here this barracks kind of overlapping. That's kind of goofy how it worked in the shadow right there. So he does see that there's a tech lab going down on that, so he knows that his opponent most likely going to be going for some sort of Marine Marauder drop tech, simply because he does have the tech labs there. So that means he's getting some sort of upgrade and possibly getting Marauders out of those barracks. And once again, still no reactor, so I'm a little bit confused by that, as the reactors eventually do pay for themselves pretty quickly after just a few rounds of Marines. And EGIdrA here, taking a macro hatch, not taking a third yet, so about 10 minutes. I'm surprised that he hasn't taken a third, as he did see his opponent take that expansion, I believe. No, he did not see him take it, but he kind of assumes it with all of this stuff going on, and this is just so weird how all this shadow is looking. But yeah, so he did see his opponent gear in for a little wall right there, so usually you'll see a third kind of a little bit faster than that, and instead of this macro hatch, you would see that go down right there as a third base. But instead, EGIdrA just opting for that macro hatch, and it looks like a little push coming out from oGsSuperNova, so we're going to have to see what EGIdrA can do to defend against this, as that is a lot of Marines and Marauders. EGIdrA does have a decent amount of Stalkers, or Lings and Banes, though, so this is on the creep. We'll have to see how much of a surround he can get. It looks like he's going to try and funnel out and possibly snipe this army. Yes, so he's going to go for that surround, try and get those Marines balled up, and here come the Banelings to do a lot of damage. No, they are not able to hit for enough, as the Marines able to fight their way out just in time, but it's able to do enough damage, force enough stims there that this is going to force oGsSuperNova back. So I'm not quite sure who that fight goes in favor to. We'll have to look at the units lost tab. Yeah, and it's right split down the middle there. So I'd say oGsSuperNova did a decent amount of damage, but he does have a lot of injured units here, so of course he's going to have to get those medevacs out, which he does have. just that starport. So once again, no reactor, and there we go. The reactors finally have gone down for oGsSuperNova. So a little bit late on that, I would say, but he was teching up a decent amount in that time, so he was using a lot of his money. And Siege Tech just going down right now with his siege tanks, so spent a lot on that early push trying to get that out and do a lot of damage with that. And unfortunately, not able to do too much. They're just able to pick off a few lings, but when you make those pushes, you want to be able to take out a hatchery, take out some sort of important building, or put your opponent in a bad position. So it looks like EGIdrA, I would say, going to be in a slightly better position, though he does have this third going down a little bit later than normal. And like I said, if he could have just had this third over here, he could have already had his third up, made this a macro hatch instead, and had his drones on a little bit better saturation, as it looks like there are. Yep. So he does have a few too many drones on each of those mineral patches. Of course, you can go up to 24 drones per mineral patch, but anything beyond 16 will only bring in your income, or only give like half as much to the income, I believe. So here we go. We do see oGsSuperNova possibly gearing up to take his third. Does he have that command center built? It's about halfway done right now, so he's going to be gearing up to take a third and doing a push. So trying to expand right behind this push. Possibly, yes, so he did take a little step back, but EGIdrA over here with a lot of links, possibly going to be able to get a nice surround on this army, which could be huge damage. The tanks are not sieged up, and finally having to siege up, so great job by Idra. This is exactly what you want to do as a Zerg player, force this push to take forever to get across the map. So whenever you see them pushing out, feign in with your lings like you're going to attack. That makes them siege right there, then he has to start pushing over, come after you over here, siege up once again. And this push will just take so long that Idra will be able to get 50 more lings out by the time it actually gets to his base. So, very smart play by EGIdrA. In the meantime, oGsSuperNova adding on a couple more tanks there to that army, and it looks like he's going to go ahead and just try and push with that and not add any more reinforcements, as he does know that EGIdrA's army does have a lot and a drop coming in. EGIdrA does see this, so we're going to have to see what Idra does, if he is going to put any units back here to defend. Yes, it does look like no, these lings are in the wrong position to try and get up there, but he is going to get some free kills on some marines that did just kind of poke out here for fun. So that army finally going to come out, and it looks like oGsSuperNova just kind of chilling at this watchtower, possibly going to continue a retreat. We'll have to see what he does. He's running the to the left, so here you go, possibly going in for these rocks right here to try and take out this third. We'll have to see, but EGIdrA with a very scary arm right there, a lot of infestors out, and oGsSuperNova does see his infestors, so he's finally going to push out with the rest of these units. He's going to start taking his third base, though there is a burrowed ling right there, so not going to be able to take that. I love that Idra did get burrow. There are no bandling bombs yet, sadly, but he does have that burrow just in case, if he wants to burrow his infestors and move them out underneath this army. He can then throw infested Terrans all over and stuff and have the tanks blow up all of these marines, as there was one of those challenges in the game, and it looks like Idra going to go for a little run by over here with his lings, possibly able to get into the space. We'll have to see if oGsSuperNova able to raise all those supply depots, and just barely able to get that. But that does kind of put oGsSuperNova's army in the middle of the map in kind of a funky position now, as these reinforcements cannot really push out to get there. It looks like they're going to try, but Idra possibly going to come back in here with these lings and take it out, as there's not too many units right here. So we'll have to see what he does. No, he's just going to retreat back with these lings, but with this army in the middle of the map, Idra able to get a super surround if he really does want it, and a scan is going to have to be wasted right here if he does want to kill that ling right there. And yes, there you go, he does go for the scan, so he will land now, but that's 270 minerals wasted right there, so that pays for burrow in itself, I would say. And Idra going to come in with all of these lings, and a lot of the army is stuck here, so Idra going to possibly be able to clean up all of this right here, take out the third, or at least force it to cancel and lift. And here we go. Yes, there is going to be a surround on a lot of these units. Will he be able to get into the base? Yes, he will. So he's able to get past those supply depots and force them to stay down. He'll be able to pick off this tank. Possibly there are a lot of SCVs repairing. No, they will not be able to do it though, and that's going to force a retreat from these Marines in the middle of the map, which cues EGIdrA to run in, as there is only tank and one bunker right here that is filled. So EGIdrA going to be able to clean up this tank, and a huge hit from EGIdrA with a great attack, able to clean up those lings, able to clean up all those tanks. So of course, taking the tanks out of your opponent's army is such a huge deal, as now with just Marine, he cannot establish a position, and EGIdrA going to be able to take a fourth if he possibly wants it. Going to be able to snipe off this bunker right here, take out the turret, and force oGsSuperNova back into his base, back into the not so great of a position. And I love this burrowed ling right here. He burrowed that during his whole attack, so able to see everything from his opponent, and know exactly when he's pushing out, know exactly what his army composition is. He does see the Vikings, so he knows that if he goes for Broodlords, there will be some Vikings out on the field to deal with this, and it looks like he is getting that Great Aspire and going for Broodlords anyways, so he's just going to have a few more Corruptors, a drop over here, not going to be able to do too much damage, and going to be able to get cleaned up by EGIdrA, and yes, he is taking his fourth base right out here. And we'll have to see if he tries to expand into some sort of fifth. He does have a lot of money pooled, but those Corruptors are about to pop. That Great Aspire is about to pop as well. So we will have to see if he does make those Broodlords right off the bat. He does have not enough supply left, so it looks like he's going to have to go sacrifice some lings or something like that if he does want to morph any. And a huge spew of infested Terrans followed by a giant run of the lings. Beautifully done there by EGIdrA, able to get a huge surround with the infested Terrans and lings, and this is going to put, once again, oGsSuperNova in such a terrible position. EGIdrA not really able to push any further though. He's able to clean up that entire army though, but of course that planetary fortress so deadly, so it's possible he tries to push back in. No, he's not going to, as that tank behind that wall, it's just suicide trying to push into that, especially if there are SCVs that are brought out to repair this wall right here. He just would not be able to break it, so he could throw a few infested Terrans behind there possibly, but no, he was able to get rid of some of his supply, which he wanted to do anyways, so effectively getting rid of supply, in the meantime taking out all of oGsSuperNova's army, and now getting those Broodlords out for another push. And he does have plenty of Corruptors to deal with any of the Vikings in the air. How many Vikings are there? There are only 5 Vikings right now, as opposed to the 6 Corruptors, and I believe Corruptors beat Vikings. They should. So, yeah, I believe they do. So here we go. It looks like EGIdrA gearing up for another push. He does have those Broodlords, which are one of the 2 massive units that you basically need as a Zerg player to push into your Terran player's base. In the meantime, what do we have in production? We do have that 3-3 upgrade going down right now, so it is only 2-2 versus 1-2, and the Broodlord's trying to push in. The Corruptor's going to go ahead and come out and do a little bit of damage right here. Careful not to get sniped off from the Marines, so, but it does not look like they care. He's going to get a fungal. It's going to go down. And a lot of Vikings, though, now out on the field here, and the Marines kind of getting a little over-eager right there, pushing out a little bit ahead. And now EGIdrA is going to push in with these Broodlords and try and do some damage. If he can get a fungal or something like that on those infested Terrans, that would be huge. Or on those Vikings, sorry, that would be huge. But EGIdrA just not quite ready to push in. It looks like he is going to be remassing with those Corruptors right there, so if he can get enough Corruptors out to deal with these Vikings, he will be golden, as there is not many Marines or anything like that to really deal with the army of EGIdrA here for Supernova. So Supernova gonna go and try and do some sort of big drop, hoping this can do enough damage to get him back into this game, as he is behind right now. And there we go. Broodlord's going to go ahead and do a little bit more damage. Are there any more Broodlords morphing? No, it does not look like it. It looks like EGIdrA is going to go for a death push. The Link's able to get in and get a huge surround on these tanks, on these Marines. And that's going to be all of the tanks right there. And the Broodlords are going down, though, as the Corruptors have not done enough damage, it looks like. But finally, the Vikings done so. And a couple Broodlords left. EGIdrA still in a better position right here, but he is not pushing it. And it looks like the drop able to pick off EGIdRA's fourth. He does not have another base started yet, or just barely started, but not up yet. So that drop doing huge damage right there, and EGIdRA just going to force his opponent to pull these SCVs to mine on this, or to repair. But it looks like a little overeager, but more Broodlords have morphed in. Those Marines are going to go down. So EGIdra just going to now be sieging up on this planetary fortress right here, forcing these SCVs to repair. So not going to give them mine time, forcing them to waste minerals repairing, and that is a lot of broodlords right there, and they're doing a ton of damage. So he's going to have to pull more SCVs if he does want to repair these. And it does not look like he's going to be able to do too much here as the Corruptors are out. They will be able to snipe off these Vikings. More Lings do kind of file in, but they're going to pull back as tanks are sieged up right here. There is a Thor down now, so that is great versus the Corruptors. Not the best versus Broodlords, though. And once again, laying siege down to that planetary fortress. So a lot of these SCVs have to be pulled for repair, and they have stopped repairing. So a little bit missed micro there, or no, he was out of minerals. So oGsSuperNova with not enough minerals to repair right there. Took a little break, but going to go ahead and use whatever minerals he does have remaining to repair this building back up to full health there. So the planetary fortress is back at full now, and a few Vikings out on the field, but looks like they're going to go down as there is not much marine support underneath. Did that drop get cleaned up? Yes, it did. So that drop was cleaned up. A fourth base has gone down for EGIdrA. We'll have to see if he does retake his fifth with these drones right here. And it looks like EGIdrA just continuing to push in here, and this is not looking very good for oGsSuperNova as he has mined out of his natural, he has mined out of his main, and he is not even mining over here. So he looks like he comes in with the rest of his units trying to do whatever he can. The Broodlord's going to do so much damage right here, and Lings filing in, going to be able to get a surround on this Thor, surround on that tank, and they're just going to force right up into the space. The planetary fortress is going to be able to do a decent amount of damage, but is going to finally go down, and that looks like it is going to be it for oGsSuperNova. So EGIdrA able to 2-1 comeback from being down 1-0 against oGsSuperNova, and EGIdrA wins in this best of 3. So well played. My name is Mr. Llama, and Mr. Llama is out.